9-year-old Liam Carter had always felt like he came from another time. While other kids on his street in Newark spent their afternoons playing basketball or arguing over whose turn it was on the PlayStation, Liam spent his hours doing something entirely different, sliding across the wooden kitchen floor in sparkly socks, practicing a moonwalk he had perfected long before he even learned multiplication. His mother used to laugh and say he danced before he talked, and honestly, no one doubted it. From the time he was 3, Liam had been obsessed with Michael Jackson. He didn't just listen to MJ, he studied him. He watched old tapes of concerts, rehearsals, interviews. He memorized every move, every breath control technique, every tiny detail that made the king of pop so unforgettable. His favorite possession was a worn-out pair of white sequined gloves he had begged his mom to buy from a thrift shop. He slept with them under his pillow like other kids slept with their favorite stuffed animals. But life wasn't easy. Liam and his mother, Rebecca, lived in a small, one-bedroom apartment. She worked double shifts at a diner and took online classes at night, trying to make something better for them. His father had left when Liam was 4, leaving behind only a half-broken stereo and a handful of old records, ironically, including Thriller, which would spark the little boy's lifelong obsession. Music had become Liam's world, his comfort, his escape, and his dream. And that dream was about to collide with the brightest stage on earth. It started when the owner of the diner, a woman with kind eyes and a love for reality TV, filmed Liam singing one afternoon while he waited for his mother's shift to end. She had been sweeping the floor, humming Ben, when Liam joined in, hitting a high note with the kind of clarity that made her broom drop midair. "Is that you?" she'd asked, staring at him like she had just seen a miracle. "Yes," he'd replied nervously, twisting the strap of his small backpack. She'd taken out her phone on the spot. Within 2 days, that video had over 1.8 million views on TikTok. Within a week, the America's Got Talent producers were calling. And so, at 9 years old, wearing his white gloves and carrying his late father's old stereo, Liam found himself backstage at AGT, shaking with excitement and fear in equal measure. Backstage was a whole universe of emotions, performers rehearsing last-minute steps, nervous parents pacing, lights flashing from every direction. Liam clutched his mother's hand tightly as he looked around in awe. Everything seemed too big: the stage, the cameras, the audience he couldn't yet see but could definitely hear. "You ready, baby?" his mom whispered. He wasn't sure. His heart was bouncing around his chest like a trapped bird. But he nodded anyway. A producer knelt beside him. "Liam, you're up in 30 seconds. You're going to be amazing, kid." His palms sweated inside his gloves. When it was time, he walked out onto the stage, taking tiny steps. The lights blinded him for a moment. The audience was huge, stretching up and outward like a massive sea of faces. Then he saw the judges: Heidi smiling warmly, Sophia looking curious, Howie leaning forward, and Simon Cowell, studying him with a raised eyebrow. Simon always scared him the most. "What's your name?" Simon asked. Liam Carter," he stammered. "How old are you?" 9. "So, what will you be doing for us today?" Liam took a breath. "I'm going to sing and perform like my hero." "And who's your hero?" He hesitated for a second but decided not to shy away from it. "Michael Jackson." There was a small murmur from the audience: interest, excitement, maybe even a bit of skepticism. Everyone had seen people imitate Michael Jackson before. Most were fine, some were good, but very few were great. Simon leaned back in his chair. "That's a big name to live up to." Liam swallowed hard. I know. "And what song will you perform tonight?" "I'll be doing my own version of Who's Lovin' You." The room erupted in whispers. A 9-year-old performing a Jackson 5 classic. One of the most difficult songs in the world. Even the judges exchanged surprised looks. "You chose that?" Simon asked, his voice almost warning. "Yes, sir." There was a pause, long, heavy, nerve-wracking. "All right, Liam," Simon finally said. "Show us what you've got." The music started. Soft piano notes echoing through the arena. Liam closed his eyes, remembering all the nights he practiced this moment in their small living room, standing on a stack of old milk crates pretending they were stage monitors. Then he opened his mouth and began. His voice was soft at first, pure, high, trembling slightly. But by the second line, he found his footing, letting the emotion pour out of him. The audience stiffened. Something changed in the air. This wasn't a cute kid doing a Michael Jackson impression. This was a boy singing from his soul. A boy who'd grown up with too many hardships and found comfort in a voice from decades ago. He hit the first big note, effortlessly. Heidi gasped. Sophia slapped her hand over her mouth. Howie whispered, "Whoa." Then came the moment everyone would talk about later. As he transitioned into the chorus, Liam took 3 slow steps back, and then slid across the stage in a perfect, impossibly smooth moonwalk. The crowd exploded. People stood up. Cameras flashed. Liam didn't break character. He kept singing, pouring pain, joy, hope, and innocence all at once into his tiny frame. It was magic. Even Simon leaned forward, eyes wide, watching a 9-year-old embody not just the moves but the feeling of the song. The passion, the heartbreak hidden beneath the notes. When the final note hit, long, powerful, shaking every inch of the theater, Liam held it with the confidence of someone far older. When he finally let it fade, there was a second of silence as if the world forgot how to breathe. Then the entire place stood. Even Simon. The applause was deafening. People were screaming, cheering, wiping tears off their cheeks. Liam froze, completely overwhelmed. Heidi spoke first. "You are incredible. You are 9 years old, and you just performed with more heart and soul than many adults ever could." Sophia added, "I got goosebumps from the first note. Your voice, your control, your emotion, everything was perfect." Howie leaned in. "You're not just a performer. You're an artist, and America is going to fall in love with you." Then came Simon, the one Liam feared the most. "Liam," he said, taking a breath, "I wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't. You took on a song that even grown professional singers are afraid to touch, and you didn't just sing it. You told a story. You made it your own." Liam felt tears gather in his eyes. "But there's something else," Simon continued. "You're not just a kid trying to be Michael Jackson. You're Liam Carter. And tonight, you made AGT history." Liam's heart stopped. "Which is why I'm going to do this." Simon stood, reached toward the judges' panel, and slammed his hand down on the golden buzzer. The hall exploded with golden sound and emotion so powerful Liam felt like the world was swirling around him. Confetti rained down like pieces of sunlight. The audience shouted louder than he had ever heard in his life. His mother ran onto the stage, crying openly, hugging him as he sobbed into her shoulder. He had done it. He had lived the moment he had dreamed of since he was 3 years old. He was going to the live shows. The next weeks were a whirlwind. Interviews, rehearsals, stylists fitting him for jackets with rhinestones, vocal coaches helping him refine his tone. America fell in love with him instantly. Clips of his audition went viral, hitting 40 million views in just 2 weeks. People called him Tiny MJ, the boy with the soul of a legend, the kid who moonwalked into history. But with the fame came pressure. He felt it constantly, and he missed home, his mom's cooking, his old stereo, his tiny bedroom where Michael Jackson posters covered every inch of the wall. One night, a week before the live performances, he sat on the edge of his hotel bed, staring at the TV but hearing nothing. His chest felt heavy. His mom sat next to him. "You okay, baby?" He shook his head. "What if I mess up? What if I disappoint everyone?" "Hey," she whispered, lifting his chin. "You didn't come here to be Michael Jackson. You came here to be Liam. And that's enough." He wiped his eyes. By the time the live show arrived, Liam felt a mix of nerves and excitement stronger than before. His performance that night wasn't an MJ song, he chose something different. Something his vocal coach said might show America who he really was, a stripped-down, acoustic version of Man in the Mirror. He walked onto the stage, wearing simple black pants, a white shirt, and one sequined glove, just one, as a tribute. No fancy tricks, just him and a microphone. The music began, and Liam sang, not imitating, not copying, just expressing everything inside him. His childhood, his pain, his dreams, his love for music, his desire to change his own world. He didn't think about the judges or the audience or the millions watching at home. He thought about being 3 years old, standing on a milk crate, singing into a wooden spoon. When he finished, there was another standing ovation. But this time, Liam didn't cry. He smiled. A big, bright smile like he finally understood something. The judges praised him again. America voted for him again. He made it to the finals. And although he didn't win AGT, something else happened, something even bigger. Record labels reached out. Music producers emailed. Michael Jackson's own choreographer sent him a congratulatory video message. Documentary crews wanted to tell his story. Schools invited him to perform. But to Liam, the most important moment came weeks later. He returned home to Newark, where the diner owner greeted him with tears and a hug. His mom framed his golden buzzer photo. The kids in his neighborhood ran toward him like he was a superhero. And Liam realized something. He wasn't a tiny Michael Jackson anymore. He was Liam Carter, a boy who had taken his hero's legacy, mixed it with his own story, and built something new. Something unforgettable, something that would go on to inspire millions. A boy who moonwalked into history, and walked out as himself.